Welcome, friends. I'm Black Flag Civilian, and the shit is already hitting the fan. But not for everyone. Not all at once. Like many of you, I spend a lot of my time, energy, and resources preparing to defend my loved ones from harm. Maybe a little too much, if we're being honest. And sure, we do this every day in small ways. But if you're here, you're probably thinking about the big stuff too. Natural disasters, food and water shortages, or perhaps an authoritarian government carrying out violence against its residents. This last example is the one we're talking about today. I want you to put yourself into this hypothetical. What do I do when coworkers start disappearing mid-shift? What do I do when parents don't make it home to their children at night? What do I do when I see entire detention camps full of one particular ethnic group? What do I do when I see masked men forcing my neighbor, a good man and a father, into an unmarked vehicle and speeding away? If this were happening to you, or people who look like you, what would you call it? What if the very things that you've been preparing for, government agents disappearing undesirables, US military deployed against US residents, a tyrant scapegoating a minority group and wielding the entire force of the state against them? What if those things are currently happening right now in real time, but not against you? Not against your family, at least not yet. What if the victims of this violence, the people under the boot, have been so thoroughly dehumanized by politicians and the media that violence against them is rendered invisible? It's not violence at all, in fact. It's process, it's paperwork, it's the law. Does that count as the shit hitting the fan? When a government agent rips a parent away from their child, do you really think it matters that the parent was born somewhere else? Do you really believe that federal agents ripping a working class family to shreds makes you and your family any safer? Of course not. That's ridiculous. And listen, I know you're worried about money, about stability, about your kid's future. You're not wrong to worry about those things, but you're wrong about who did this to you. Ask yourself, who do you have more in common with? Someone who bends the law to give a better life to their children, or someone who bends the law to deny working people health care? Who do you have more in common with? Someone who bends the law to put food on the table, or someone who bends the law to avoid paying overtime? If you believe the billionaire and the politician lies that other working people are your enemies, then you have been played. And I get it, it's hard to admit when you've been played. It's hard to admit when you were wrong. But it's never too late to stop carrying water for people who would gladly watch you drown if it put $1 into their pocket. It's never too late to stop punching sideways and start punching up. Working people from all over the world are fundamentally similar. We want safety, happiness, and prosperity for ourselves and our loved ones, period. There's no population in the world for whom this is not true. We might dress different. We might pray different. We might live our lives different in some ways. But working class people the world over have more in common with one another than we will ever have in common with the rich and the powerful. And the rich and the powerful, wherever they come from, have more in common with each other than they ever will with us. This is why the billionaires, their media, and their puppet politicians do everything they can to break us into groups and feed us hate for one another. They sell us the narrative that those people over there, they are vermin, a drain on the resources produced by us, the righteous workers of this great country. This is a disgusting lie intended to divide us, intended to prevent us from taking the fruits of our own labor back from the rich and the powerful. Like really, I want you to think about this. Is the problem people who have even less than you have? Or is it the tiny handful of people sitting on hordes of wealth beyond human comprehension? Is the problem families struggling to survive? Or is it a tiny handful of people who, through every single crisis that drains the bank account of regular working people, somehow come out richer and richer and richer? Do you really think that people who have nothing are a bigger threat to you than people who have everything? Don't be a fool. Don't be a coward. Sure, any group of people in the world has a small number of bad apples that can be used to scapegoat the many. But we can't fall for that. Again, we have to remember, above all the bullshit, that working class people want safety, happiness, and prosperity for themselves and their loved ones. That's it. That's humanity at its core, worldwide. We cannot allow propaganda and hateful media to make us forget that. Listen, I know a lot of the people who watch my channel don't agree with me about much. And genuinely, that's cool. The world would suck if everyone had the same opinion about everything. But we need to get on the same page about one simple idea. Other segments of the working class are not our enemies. The people who harvest food, the people who build homes, the people who cook and clean and do 1,000 other important, essential jobs that make our communities safe and cared for. They are not our enemies. We don't have to agree or understand each other. We don't even have to like how we see one another living. But other working people are just that, working people. And we are on the same team against the folks who exploit all of us. And those folks, they wear suits, not steel toes. Which side are you on?
Come all you poor workers, good news to you I'll tell, how the good old Union has come in here to dwell. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? If you go to Harlan County, there is no neutral there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair. Which side are you on? Which side are you on?